Hi, guys. I would like to talk about things that changed my life perspective. Hi, I'm Mesa, and as many of you know, or maybe not, I volunteered in Nepal for 2 months. Yeah, 2 months. Um, and here are the things that Nepal culture has taught me and changed in the way I view life. Just to give you small context, how did I end up in Nepal? It was actually very random. One day, a teacher of me came into the classroom and he was like, "We need some people to volunteer in Nepal for their internship." So I straight up went for it. I thought, if it's meant for me, I will be selected to go. So I ended up being selected and I was super happy. So what did I do there? I went as an interior designer. Back then, I was still a student, and they asked us basically to help with the renovation of a classroom. And then in another school, we made like some paintings on the wall with some English words, like for example, the colors, emotions, weather, and stuff like that. And this experience has literally changed my life. Everyone that knows me knows that it's something I cannot stop talking about. So I thought, why not make a video about it? And that's what I'm gonna do today. I lived in a village. The village was a bit like in the middle of nowhere. It was only reachable with a public bike, which took around 6 hours if it was not raining. If it was, then you were even longer on the road. And I went together with another classmate of mine. So, yeah. And what did Nepal teach me about life? I get goosebumps thinking back because it has been exactly 2 years ago and I'm still not over the experience. The first thing is the beauty of simplicity. The people have not much luxury, but they just enjoy life in its purest, simplest form. And this was something I was really amazed by because, as someone living in Europe, as someone living in the West, we're often distracted and chasing the wrong things. Well, the people here, they live so basic and they are so happy. I realized that we were living in an overconsumption society, and my experience there made me realize that you really don't need much to feel happy, to feel content, because the people there were so open as well. They were sharing everything. Even if they didn't have food, they were so happy to share the little food that they had in their kitchen. The second thing is community and connection. And this was not fully new for me because I grew up in a neighborhood where everyone knew each other and everyone was playing outside with each other. Everyone was having this community thing where you're basically like all together, you're social, you're going out. That's how I grew up, like in a neighborhood with a lot of friends. But slowly, when you grow up, you realize, especially with the modern world that we live in, that this is starting to disappear. Because if I look at my nephews and nieces, I see that they don't play outside that often anymore, and a lot of people don't know their neighbors. The connection has disappeared. And because this was so strong in Nepal still, I felt so happy to relive all of those moments. I would just walk down the village and people would just randomly invite me, like, come sit down. And even if they didn't speak a word English, they were doing their best to communicate with me with hands and stuff. They were offering me tea, they were offering me food. And this was literally the best experience ever. I felt so welcomed. I really felt a strong hospitality. which I didn't feel in a while. The third thing is generosity with nothing. These people are so generous. Like, if I would ask them to cut off their arm and give it to me, they would literally do this. Like, they're so caring and they're so sharing. They're open to sharing anything and everything. And this was amazing because I feel like a lot of people got stingy or they're not into sharing, especially if they don't have much. But I'm telling you, the people, this is something general by the way, people who are poor intend to share more because they probably know what it feels like. And I also felt it a bit with the people in Nepal. I'm not saying all of them were poor, some of them had a very good life, but still they're not seeking for the luxurious life. They just want to have their own house, like a bed and just basic stuff, food on the table, and that's it. That's all they need. The fourth thing is living in the present. I had to get used to it because I was used to um, being on my phone all the time, being on social media and stuff. But I realized that they were still living in a moment where everyone was just sitting in someone's garden, and I kid you not, they were sitting there for like 2 to 3 hours, and even if they weren't talking all the time, they were just looking around and being so present. And I started doing this too. I had to get used to it at first, but as soon as I got used to it, I just left my phone and I was just sitting with a bunch of women. We were just looking outside who's coming, who's leaving, the kids playing. We were just observing our surroundings. And this was such a nice feeling. I love this. Fifth thing is spirituality in daily life. So, as you know, Nepalese people are like most of them are Buddhist or Hindu, and they have a lot of temples. They also have a lot of festivals, like a lot of partying. Like I remember every 2 3 weeks they were celebrating something, and there was this day that it was Tish, I think it's called. It's like Women's Day, and the concept of it was very interesting. So I was just chilling at home. We were staying with a family, by the way. It was like a family who had this hotel floor up, like some rooms up. So I had my own room, I could lock it. My classmate had his room, and then there was this third room that they were renting out. But anyway, so I was just chilling there, and then one of the women that was like a family member of the place I was staying, she grabbed my hand and she took me upstairs where I saw a bunch of women getting ready. They were putting on makeup, they were getting their hair done. And then two of them came to me and they started putting a sare on me. And then the other one starts to do my makeup. They were putting my hair very cute. And then they called a tuk-tuk who brought us all the way to a temple nearby. And I saw like a lot of women partying and celebrating. And of course, I had to join them, even though I was a stranger. And some people were staring at me, not because they were thinking something negative, but more because they were curious about why I was there. Because I'm telling you, no stranger had ever been in that village before me. So it was new to them, and I got filmed all the time. A lot of people wanted pictures with me, so I felt like a main character. But yeah, I love the fact that they're very much into celebrating all together. They have this very strong culture, their traditions, and everything of that. And even the way they are praying, I remember every day at around 5 or 6, there was this prayer thing playing in the background, but very loud. I'm sure everyone could hear it. And it wasn't like music, it was like a prayer thing. And the whole village got up at 5 in the morning. That was when everyone was waking up. I was the only one sleeping until 8 or 9. Um, but yeah, it's so strange. And I went back 1 year after to see my family there because I'm by now calling them family. I'm calling my grandma in Nepalese, so I'm very close to them. We still speak, and I'm looking forward to going back. And I can confirm that it has changed my life. The way I view things and all of these all of these experiences had an impact on who I am. So Nepal has taught me simplicity, the beauty of community and gratitude. It has changed the way I view life forever, and I'm so grateful for that. If you have anything to share with me, feel free to write it in the comments, and we'll see each other in the next video. Bye!